morning. My name is Fidelania Polo, and I am part of the members of group number 4 because I had problem in the last Sunday class, so I couldn't present my part of the presentation. So today we have that part. So that part is called factor affecting grammatical choice. So, a speaker who has successfully internalized the rule of the languages and their constraints are says that they possess grammatical competence. This means that they are able to use the rule of the languages automatically and to produce grammatical sentences. It also means that they are able to make accurate judgments regarding the grammatical of the sentences that they hear and they read. So if you have a native speaker, for example, in your class, and they have English competence, so they will be able to identify when someone make a mistake in the languages. But in many cases, they cannot specify what kinds of mistake those person make. So that's because they just noted that there is something wrong in the sentences that those person or that person makes. The same happens in Spanish. In Spanish, we know many people who can use the languages, but they cannot identify when someone makes a mistake. So learning those kinds of competence in the languages, like identify when someone make a mistake, is an important goal in the learning second languages. So after all, the ability to produce a grammatical competence in the languages is vital for the effectively communication in the speakers. So nevertheless, the achievement of the grammatical competence in the languages doesn't guarantee that the language learner will be able to communicate effectively in every context. That's because there are another factor that affect besides the grammatical factor that influence in the choice of what kinds of grammatical form the speaker will be used according with the situation that they are with the environments that they have in that moment. So we as a teachers, we need to identify or to understand those structure of the languages or those different languages form in order to help our students to know when and where they can use those different grammatical form in order to use in the correct way. So there are other factors that affecting the choose of the grammatical according with the moment. So one of those factors is sociolinguistic factor. So sociolinguistic factor refers to the things in which the languages is used. So who speaker and the locutor are the location, the relationship between the participants and the medium in which the languages is developed. Those factors can affect the choice of what kinds of language structure the vocabulary the speaker will be used in that moment. So, but why we have to know those different registers? So it is important for the teacher to know those different registers because as we need to give our students the sense to identify when they can, so in what circumstance they can use those different registers. So for example, if you are teaching a constructing form of the modal verb, like the example that we have here. So if you are teaching, for example, I have to sing hands. Also, you have to mention that there is another word to say, that is I had to see hands. So this is another way to say the same sentences. In many cases, we don't pay attention to those, how can I say, three words or three sentences that we have. When the learners is in a real situation, they can see many difference in the English, with the difference in the formal English and in the street English. Another example that we have is this one. Do you intend to do that? So also we have to teach this way. Are you gonna to do that? So these those differences, it is so important for we as a teacher to understand that we need to teach our students to identify some, at least to recognize them. So for it is important that we as a teacher, as I said before, distinguish those registered. So because it's not the same when you have a normal conversation that when you have to write something important like academic work, or maybe something for a newspaper, so something like that. So also the learners has to develop a sense to identify when they can use those different registers according with the situations that they are, or the situation that is given in that moment or environment. So for me, it is so important to talk with our students and to teach at least some different expressions that comes from the informal English, because more of the times we teach a formal English when our students face in real life, they discover many change, and also that can affect their sensibilities. In many cases, they think that they don't know English. So we as a teacher, we have to emphasize a little bit in those different registers of the grammar or the grammar form in the languages. Thank you so much.